At exactly 9:08 p.m., Daniel Reece closed his front door behind him. He didn't lock it. He didn't take his keys. He left his phone charging on the kitchen counter, his wallet lying beside it. His family assumed he had stepped outside for a few minutes. But by midnight, he hadn't come back. And in the 14 years that followed, no trace of Daniel Reece was ever found. Not a footprint. Not a signal. Not a single clue. This is the Ninth Hour Archive. And this is case file number 001. Daniel Reece was 34 years old in the spring of 2009. He lived in the quiet town of Ashford Creek, Ohio, with his wife, Claire, and their 2 young children. By all accounts, Daniel was a devoted father, a dependable neighbor, and a man with no known enemies. He worked as a warehouse supervisor, a job he had held for 6 years, and his evenings were predictable: dinner with the family, helping the kids with homework, and a short walk around the block before bed. On the night of May 14, 2009, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Claire later told police that Daniel had seemed a little quiet during dinner, but not upset. After the children went to bed, Daniel said he was going to step outside for some air. He left his phone and wallet on the kitchen counter. He didn't take his jacket, even though it was cool outside. Claire didn't think much of it at first. She fell asleep in the living room watching television. When she woke up at 1:12 in the morning, Daniel wasn't there. The front door was still unlocked. His car was still in the driveway, but Daniel was gone. Police were called at 1:45 in the morning. A search began immediately. The town of Ashford Creek was small, enough that officers knew. They searched the house, the yard, the surrounding streets. Nothing. No signs of struggle. No footprints leading away from the property. In the days that followed, the search expanded. The woods behind the neighborhood. The creek that ran through the town. The abandoned grain silo on the edge of Ashford Creek. All were searched. Not a trace. Daniel's family was devastated. Claire was cooperative but overwhelmed. She said Daniel had no reason to disappear. He hadn't been acting strangely. There were no financial problems. No arguments. No sign of infidelity. The only thing out of the ordinary was that he had left his phone and wallet behind. In 2009, for a man who worked in logistics, that was almost unthinkable. Investigators ruled out an accident. The creek was too shallow to hide a body. The woods had been searched. No one in town had seen Daniel after 9:08 p.m. Security cameras from a nearby gas station showed nothing. There were no unidentified cars on the road that night. The case went cold. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. Every year, on the anniversary of his disappearance, local news would run a brief update. And every year, the answer was the same. No new leads. Then, in October 2023, 14 years after Daniel Reece vanished, a neighbor named Marcus Webb decided to renovate his basement. Marcus lived 3 doors down from the Reece family home. He had bought the house in 2015 and had always thought the basement wall looked slightly off. The drywall on the east side was thicker than the rest. As Marcus pulled down the drywall, he found something hidden inside the wall cavity. Something that should not have been there. It was a metal box, about the size of a lunchbox, wrapped in an old flannel shirt. Marcus said his hands were shaking as he opened it. Inside, he found a wallet, a set of keys, and a letter. The wallet belonged to Daniel Reece. The keys were Daniel's. But the letter was addressed to the person who finds this. Marcus immediately called the police. The Ashford Creek Police Department reopened the case. And for the first time in 14 years, they had a new piece of evidence. The letter was dated May 14, 2009, the night Daniel disappeared. It was written in Daniel's handwriting, and it contained a confession. The confession revealed that Daniel had been living a secret life. He had accumulated a large gambling debt, over $70,000, and had been lying to his family about it for years. On the night of his disappearance, he had planned to leave his family and start over. He had hidden a small bag of cash in the wall of his neighbor's house, a house that was vacant at the time, as the previous owner had moved out a month earlier. Daniel wrote that he was going to walk away, disappear permanently, and never contact his family again. He had left his phone and wallet behind, intentionally to make it look like he had been taken. He said he would take a bus to a nearby city, change his name, and start a new life. But there is one detail that still doesn't fit. The letter was hidden inside the wall of a house 3 doors down. But Daniel Reece never mentioned that in his confession. He said he was leaving that night. He said he would never return. So why did he hide the letter and the box in a house that was not his own? And why was the wall already patched back up with drywall when Marcus Webb moved in years later? Police have not been able to locate Daniel Reece, but they now believe something else happened that night. Something he didn't write in the letter. And that is why this case remains open. If you know anything about the disappearance of Daniel Reece, contact the Ashford Creek Police Department. And if you believe some stories should never be forgotten, subscribe to the Ninth Hour Archive. New case files every Tuesday and Friday. Because some stories refuse to stay buried.